All right, guys, welcome to Kamish Reviews. We are talking about BMF. This is episode 4. In the beginning, we see, young Meech as the girls are dragging him, as he's showing out like he's this big man, like he can take care of them and buy their food and everything. They had the little chips and snacks, stuff like that. Back then, like if you're 12 or 11, and the young man was like, "Hey, I got you, baby. I'll buy your stuff." That was a thing. I remember the girls, because he was having a problem with the register. The girls ended up buying this stuff. It was crazy. So Pat saw what happened. It was like, "Look, get the boy some money." It was like, "Don't do that. Don't let him see you sweat." That kind of thing. Gave him some money for the next time we see the girls. Like, here, So besides, of course, his dad, he looked up to him. So the BMF, the boys, they ended up going to the 8 Mile new stash house. All of a sudden, here come Hoop and Kato. This whole Kato situation is crazy. Meech is completely pissed off. Like, why did they transport it? Why didn't B Mickey do it? And he's been like missing. They don't know where he at. Meech took the money to Pat to buy, to re-up or whatever. But instead of Owen, he wanted to pay up front. Because, see, Pat wanted to keep his foot right here. Pat knows if you owe me, you always owe me. Where you going to go? You going to always need me. You'll never be up front to pass me. You know what I'm saying? Meech was like, "Look, I'm a man. I got this." Pat was like, "Nah, So Meech started doing a side deal with Pat's lieutenant, Rock, who told him, Pat's falling off. That's why you're trying to micromanage, the boys. So Rock was like, I'll hook you up with somebody new. Meech told T that Pat was, smoking that white stuff. He also told him about Rock's, what he told him. T wanted to go that way and was like, "Look, it's just business." But Meech didn't want to really make Pat mad, and they went to a different supplier. The only thing, the new supplier is super just dirty. Okay, so now we have this new task force. They're meeting up, talking about the 2 leaders of 12th Street Boys, and who been missing. Detective Lopez. He's thinking the 50 Boys is retaliation for Terry being shot. The team is also focused on Lamar, who recently just took over 12th. Dr. Bryant, of course, trying to, Detective Bryant, of course, he's trying to protect the boys. They really coming after them anyway. Okay. So the chief, she was like, "Y'all focus on both of them. You need to find out what happened." So Pastor Swift's niece came to visit Terry, Charles, and Lucille about the malpractice suit. She told them they good, even though the father's always so questioning everything. She's like, "I got you." Okay. Charles is still mad about, Meech paying the mortgage. He's still on that. Okay, he don't trust the lawyer, partly because of who she's connected to. Lucia wanted him to, to stick around to eat. And even Terry, asked him to stay. He was like, "Nah." He's just so mad about the fact that his son paid a mortgage. He cannot and will not let that go. I mean, Lamar is really playing this, man. Him and the crew, they went to the food truck and just caused all kind of chaos, shutting stuff down. I mean, Lamar just is in heaven right now. The 50 Boys, they moved the food truck because Lamar. Hoop was like thinking that Lamar was part of this plan, and no one's watching the stash house, the new one. He went to go check. Kato tried to, talk him Hoop of leaving since you know, of course, she's the one that helped everything the way it was because she's going back and forth telling Lamar what's going on. Hoop went to the house, gun had been ransacked, towed up. Someone tried to fire up on him. Hoop shot at him, you know what I'm saying? The guy was escaping. It was a disaster. Okay, the man was Lamar, of course, hurting Hoop, ready to straight take him out. And then Kato appeared and shot at Lamar, and he had to run away. So Meech and T went to go meet the new plug, Big L, at the nightclub, but he flaked. Terry met this woman. She was sitting there. She was really pretty, but she was just like not really feeling anybody. She was just there, and he dismissed her. He was trying to worry about his business. He was mad his brother was worrying about the women in the club and not paying attention. He was too distracted. So the next day, Meech and Terry meet up with Rock, who would introduce him to a new plug from South Florida. He wanted an investment, matchmaking them two together. Suddenly, Terry had to run so him and Meech can meet the club at this really fancy club. They received the note to meet out back, and they were straight kidnapped. Had no other choice. Got thrown in the van. They come out to this area. They don't know where they at. They stand there. They see Rock and Pat standing there with shovels. Pat was going off. Meek was like, please don't do anything to Terry, please. Now this is where it gets pretty crazy. Okay? He swung at Rock instead of Meech because of the shady stuff he did. When I'm telling you, Pat took that shovel and he jabbed him in his face until it didn't show us. To me, I was thinking either he kept rabbing him in the face until it split. I ain't trying to be graphic about it, but then he made Meech and Terry bury him. All right. Meech and T, they meet up with B Mickey and the Hoop about the stash robbery. Meech confronted B Mickey because he hasn't been around. Okay, say he was handling some business with his mom in the hospital. Meech punched B Mickey. He blamed him for everything and lost. He's already mad. He's already fired up by everything that's going on. Right? They broke everything up. And it was like, okay, who could have, went to the stash and took all the stuff? So Meech instantly blamed Kato. He really didn't really care about her being at it, but who vouched for the woman is saying like, look, man, if it hadn't been for him, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here right now. They knew, whoever it was there with Lamar. Okay, so let's go. So Terry, let's stop. Let's stop and go back and think. Right now, I'm tired. I've been like digging in this grave. I'm just like, it's too much is happening. All right, so we had the baptism. Terry took his family shopping for the christening for his baby. Okay, he ran to the 12th Street Boys at the mall. Of course, the gang confronted him by himself, but LaWanda and the baby came, and Lamar was like, Lamar, went off, and they ended up leaving. Hot mess, baby. So at the christening, Terry was sitting here thinking about Rock and what happened, man. You can't get over that fast. We can just let that go. Unless you're just cold-blooded like that. So the next day, Bryant, he met with his old buddy, old pal, Detective Wallace, who was the head of the Harbor Patrol. The floater he found was J-Mo. Bryant he had to do something. So he and Lopez met with the family after the christening, told Meech, you gotta go with us. They didn't have a warrant. He was like, nah. Kato got to the house, and I remember she walked in. She had her something all twisted up already, fired it up, had some music playing. Lamar attacked her. Of questioning her, putting a gun in her mouth, all kind of stuff, because she helped out Hoop. She did not want Hoop to get killed. She begged and begged and said, I had to make it look like that I wasn't a part of it. I was part of the crew that knew about everything. And they would easily look at her as a suspect if she didn't do something. And he said, you know, he made a comment saying, if it hadn't been for your dad, I would have taken you out. So Kate went to go see B Mickey right after that, and started getting a freak on him. To me, I don't understand what she be doing B Mickey, because the whole time she be acting like she don't like B Mickey, which, I mean, that could be just, you know, because she actually does like him. So she's been acting like she don't like him the whole time. B Mickey been trying to get her, but all of a sudden now, maybe having a gun in her mouth, maybe Lamar coming at her so crazy, she's like, the release. That's a lot. This is a rule she never wanted to break, though. So Meech went to Brian's house and confronted each other about J-Mo being recovered, you know, because he out the river with a bullet in his head. Meech was like, it wasn't me. Gave the cop more money. Brian was like, I can't contain this mess. It's spilling out of control right now. Meech was like, nah, you in. You gonna keep helping us. So it seems like Lamar talking to Monique, all the sweetness of coming by and acting like he cares and all this, that, and they work. She was like, oh, you seem different. We're going to see his baby, the little girl calling him daddy, giving gifts. And of course, she gets a bling bling, and all of a sudden, they get it on. So Terry does meet with somebody. That beautiful, mysterious lady that was at the club. The whole time that was Big L, the plug. But she said, I'm only going to work with you, not Meech. T accepted that. And the voiceover is saying, you know, eventually Meech will come around. He'll see that I dipped out. The thing about Pat, they look at Pat like family. And betraying him or leaving him for somebody else is a betrayal of your family. So I know that him getting involved with Big L, there's going to be something behind that. It's not going to be just that easy for them to walk away from all that. Because Pat is going down the wrong path. I heard that phrase this week. I'm sorry I had to use it. The reason why I say that is because he's using his own product, which is a no-no. A product that you can get very addicted to, and you start slipping without realizing it. Taking money or using your product. People come for more product, you don't have it because you just sniffed it all up. But you're gonna play like, oh no, this mine stole from me, because you don't want to admit you have a problem. That you get so addicted to this stuff and saying it's a party and it's a casual thing, where it's becoming you getting up in the morning and doing it and going to bed and doing it and everything else. Okay, so this is episode 4. So we have episode 5, 6, 7, and 8. We got Secrets and Lies, which is the next episode. Episode 6, which is Strictly Business, and 7, On the Family, and the last one to be, the finale, excuse me. So guys, we got a lot more coming up with BMF. I hope you guys enjoy the review. Until next time, peace.